This is the very concerning area of rotation of Spring Hill. Here's 319. So if you're heading into Wakulla County from parts of Leon County, there's Tallahassee, 319. Here is where that well-formed rotation is. That confirmed tornado is on the ground there. To see if we can't get some backscatter away from that. There's a debris ball still kind of popping up there. This is all scatter. I know it's hard to see, but there is a debris ball just to the southeast of Spring Hill. That means that tornado is on the ground, still lofting up debris into the upper atmosphere. And that's where, things get really dangerous when those trees are flying sideways and that wind is pretty strong in a very small area. So please take shelter across 319 this morning. Don't try to beat the storm if you're trying to head out by the airport now, down Capitol Circle, down into parts of Wakulla County. Not a good idea. It is a dangerous situation out there, and you will quite possibly get hurt if you're trying to beat that storm this morning. We also still have now a confirmed tornado broad area of confirmed tornado just encompassing these two different systems, one in just to the northwest of Tallahassee and one to the southwest of Tallahassee. So let's go ahead and zoom in on that confirmed tornado. It was going through Ocklawaha. It's kind of gotten caught up in the backscatter here. But we still have the tornado. Here we go. Here's that rotation just to the north of that radar, and that's going to be heading into parts of Tallahassee this morning. So here is West Pensacola Street. You're under that area of rotation. Here is Roswell Road. We've also got what's probably going to move north to the east. So Levy Avenue. This is all basically. Here's Doak Cable Stadium. So it's all basically kind of right there across Capitol Circle Southwest, kind of moving over West Pensacola and Roberts Avenue. Again, a lot of that area kind of heading to the east is going to be that College Town area. There's the Doak Campbell Stadium. There's FAMU, FSU, a lot of kids getting out of school for this time of year. Hopefully a lot of them are away from the city, kind of out after graduation. But again, there is the potential for a tornado in or within the area of the stadium, and then of course the College Town. So that does include Jackson Bluff Road, Roberts Avenue, and then Tyson Road as well. But West Pensacola Street, the main hub for where that tornado is still tracking now. Actually, if we can get that foreshot of downtown Tallahassee, Riley, on WSI2, I would love that. But I'm going to go ahead and track these two that are on the ground. So here's 319, still got a very well-defined area of rotation moving through Crawfordville Road again. That's that area where you take from Capitol Circle down into Wakulla County. That area is under an area of spin. That just updating there. Thank goodness it looks like a little bit more broad rotation. That storm was holding together very well for a long time, but there is still rotation that is tight in that area. But as that latest scan just shows, it has moved off to the east. Here's Celia Road. There's going to be Woodville Highway, another major thoroughfare down to the south from Tallahassee. That's 363. And then there's Corey and Rose and kind of off to the east. And
two of the cameras are offline, but the bottom two are looking pretty dicey. Cannot see the Capitol right now. If we can pull up WSI2.
Can we pull up? Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Okay, so these are obviously offline, the Florida State and FAMU, which is where that tornado is very close now. But Tallahassee Northeast, Florida Capitol, I mean, my goodness. I'm surprised they even still have power, to be honest with you. Wow. That is going to be a very tricky morning for us. So those Capitol shots and that Tallahassee Northeast shot is where that storm is moving in now. So this is another reason why you don't want to go out. We can come back on me. Thanks, Dennis. This is another reason why you don't want to go out looking for those storms. I mean, look at that. You can barely even see the trees in the background. You're not going to see a tornado in that. So if we can come back on camera one here, we're going to show where that tornado is. Again, that was the shots of the Capitol and Northeast Tallahassee. The other two were offline. But this area right across Woodville, I mean, yes, there is potentially a tornado on the ground here and up in closer to downtown Tallahassee. Those areas are not going to be able to see the tornado. Please don't go out and try to get video. It's just going to be impossible to see anything. I mean, as indicated by our two weather cams, that two are offline. We don't have power, and the other two, it's just you can't see anything but rain blowing sideways. So we are still looking at that area of rotation. I do want to pull up this, see if we get anything here. I mean, it's just going to be right into that scatter. Let me try to go actually over into Valdosta's radar and see if that will help us a little bit here. It might be too far away. Yeah, so it's just going to show Tallahassee for some reason. So yeah, we still have that confirmed tornado closer to that Tallahassee corridor, West Tharp Street, West Tennessee Street, North Monroe, Gamble Street, all those areas that were in that line of that storm. Here is the Collegetown area, kind of just north of Levy Avenue, and Gamble Street, and West Tennessee Street kind of south of that, kind of riding basically down that 90 corridor, West Pensacola Street as well. Kind of looking at that velocity here, just kind of seeing where I can see any kind of rotation. I might have to go look offline for a second here, but that area of West Tallahassee is going to be the biggest area of concern for that potential.
Just so you know, I'm going to try to get clearance for this picture, but there's a downed tree off of Tharp Street. That's the first damage report we have.
Okay, so the first damage report in Tallahassee is a downed tree on West Tharp Street. I'm sure that's not going to be the only one with that wind and that tornado activity that we have here. So a large area encompasses two different confirmed tornadoes on the ground is this area in purple. That means there is a tornado on the ground. There's no doubt about it. And two of them were on the ground at one point. Now, this one in south parts of Leon County, southern parts of Leon County, it does look a little bit better for us. It was a broad rotation as it kind of moves out of this area, but now it looks like, again, it's tightened up. So here is that area of concern. Celia Road, I mean, just when I say, thank goodness it's broad, that's what happens. They tighten up that quickly. I mean, our atmosphere is just that ripe for any kind of rotation. So here's another area of tight rotation. Here's Woodville Highway. So please continue to stay in your shelter as it moves to the northeast. That area of rotation kind of moving just to the west right now of Woodville. And that's 363, kind of moving over into that Rose Quarry area in just a few minutes here, and then eventually over into parts of our eastern Leon County line over into even parts of Jefferson County. But keep in mind there is or was a confirmed tornado on the ground just to the northeast of downtown Tallahassee. Here's our radar, and the problem with that is that we do have some scatter from that radar that it doesn't show as well. So I do want to go look offline for you just to give you the latest update on what we're looking at as far as tornadic activity for Tallahassee. But again, two confirmed tornadoes on the ground for parts of Leon County. And that's not the only tornado warnings we actually have right now. So let me just look at this 1 second here. Just making sure we have the latest information for you so I'm not leading you astray as far as where that tornado is. Okay, so it looks like there's another little area of concern as well, just to the west of Tallahassee, but we're still going to be watching that line as it moves through. So this area just to the west of Tallahassee, that's where we're going to be looking right now. And then, of course, it goes Woodville Highway. So Tallahassee, again, just take shelter now. Again, we're still watching that area of rotation kind of move through the closer to the downtown area, kind of across that Capital Circle region. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of scatter from that radar, obviously, very close to the radar there. And we do still have that rotation kind of moving through to the east. Not seeing too much of that well-defined debris ball across Tallahassee, which is good news. There was a debris ball kind of going into that, but if you got to go down through places like Woodville, we do have a better view of some of that rotation that is possible across basically just to the west of Woodville. So these areas right here across that 369 corridor, and that's the 363. And here's Bob Mill Road, all those areas. You can kind of see that rotation back here just to the west of Woodville, which puts that rotation kind of right there near Celia Road. But again, this is happening now and already has happened for Celia Road. These scans are behind, so that's why we look out ahead just to kind of get you ready. So like Natural Bridge Road, places in those areas, please take shelter now. These neighborhoods back in here are these county roads, Cedar, Trice, McDaniel, all those areas, in the path of that rotation that's continuing to hold together, or at least continue to respin up as it moves through. So this area closer to the east of Tallahassee now, going to see those scans where, at least large hail is a possibility for you. I mean, we're seeing that hail move through Tallahassee now, probably hearing it outside. Places along that 363 corridor, probably going to hear that hail in just a bit here as well. But again, at one point, there midway, That's where that confirmed tornado was on the ground, but that system is still moving through Tallahassee, and that rotation can happen very quickly for us. So what we have here is still some rotation that's concerning along this line. That's kind of coming out of Tallahassee now in Leon County, and then down across places like 363 through places like Vereen, Lutulif, and Woodville. That's 363 here. Here's that line of storms, and embedded within that line of storms is that rotation. So if we look at some different velocity scans here we go. Here's that area of rotation here where we have that concerning couplet where that storm could be holding together, moving into Woodville in just a few minutes with that latest scan. So that's where we're going to be watching for any kind of debris that we could see being lofted into the air. Just keeping a close eye on that over the next couple of minutes as that system kind of moves closer to Woodville. But keep in mind, that threat with a lot of these tornadoes is not just the wind, it is the debris that's also flying through the air. And that's why I tell you to get into an interior room, because that debris can easily fly through windows. It can easily go through siding. I mean, we've seen video of it before, of those tree trunks basically, penetrating a house, and you don't want to be in a room on the interior or exterior wall. So that's what we say, go into an interior wall, make sure that you have your safe place in mind. If you live anywhere to the east of these systems, again, those are just two confirmed tornadoes on the ground. It does look like, sorry, I put my hand down here. It does look like that one in the South Georgia area across Grady and Thomas County has expired, thank goodness. So we are still looking at some damaging wind though. So it's still not okay to get on the roadway. And I will say this, 1,000 times, damaging wind is widespread. You can have a line of storms with wind, 70 miles per hour over 18 miles. These tornadoes happen in a very small area. So yes, both are very damaging and both can be very disruptive, but that wind is just as dangerous as this line of storms. So please keep that in mind. It is now 7:12 in the morning. If you're just now joining us, maybe trying to turn into GMA, we do have two tornadoes that were on the ground in Leon County. Our South Georgia warning has expired, but now we're going to be focusing in on this line that's moving through closer into our area in Apalachicola. We gave you about a 30 minutes heads up there for you to take shelter. Hopefully you have done so. You left the TV on or you had the weather radio on. This line of storms is capable of producing a spin-up tornado as it moves through. Even have a little notch here in Fort Gadsden. I'm going to be watching that one as well. But anyway, so this 11-mile Apalachicola area, this is St. George Island, East Point, Bay City, Tilton, that's 319. And then we have 65 as well, kind of in the path of that line of storms that does have some kind of rotation. So kind of looking at this quickly here. So it looks like a bit of rotation, especially when just to the east of Port St. Joe, that's north of 319, heading over into Franklin County, that's Tilton, Bay City, 11-mile Apalachicola. And then again, that does include the St. George Island Bridge. And then here's St. George Island that kind of goes up and then Dog Island just north of that. But this area of storm is capable of producing a tornado and a quick spin up. So we'll wait for that to get into Gadsden or to Franklin County, but keep in mind there has been some rotation with this storm. So please take this very seriously across Apalachicola 2-mile. There's that 319 corridor, East Point, and then 11-mile, and then parts of St. George Island. So please take shelter now if you live in any of those, Bay City as well. That storm could potentially have some rotation with it as it moves into your area. We're watching a couple of different areas with those storms still moving through parts of Leon County this morning, out to the east of Tallahassee. So Tallahassee, you're out of that rotation area, but we're still looking closer to that 27 corridor. Remember that down here near Woodville, there's also been rotation. I don't know if our radar has gone down or not because that has not updated in quite a while.
Yeah.
So let me see here if our radar has gone down or not. Our radar is down at the moment. Do you see anything on chat right now? Is it just my...
NWS chats, I do... The last thing they sent was that picture at 7:05.
Okay.
So yes, it does appear our radar...
Our radar is at least 10 minutes old. The Valdosta radar is down, which is why we couldn't look at that earlier.
Yes.
So let me look at...
Because I'm seeing on our other radar platforms as well, it is also hasn't updated.
Right, 10 minutes.
Might be the actual radar site.
So here's Jack. I mean, that tornado did go very close to that radar site, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was down or delayed. So this is actually not a current picture of these storms. So let me try to do the best I can here to get you the latest information. So let's go first. Okay, let's go first to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, that radar is up. So let's go over to radar. This is out of Jacksonville's radar here, if it decides to do it. Here is, let me just go over here and do this manually so I have the latest information. So Valdosta radar is out, and then our Tallahassee radar is out. But I do want to keep you up to date with the latest information here. And, you know, it might just be our system here at work too. I mean, we lost power and had a tornado go within a mile of here. So
I think we're getting signs that it's out for everybody.
Okay.
We cannot confirm, but it looks that way.
Okay, so let me go to our EOX. Okay, so here we go. So here is our Valdosta. So let's look and see what's going on in Tallahassee, because this is where that confirmed tornado was on the ground. Here is that line of storms. There we go. And here's that line of storms. It's now pushing through St. Mark's. Here's Cody and Fanlue. Let's look at our reflectivity here. It keeps going back to, there we go.
Now, I have seen this happen to another market once.
Okay.
The best they could do is go off of lightning strikes.
Okay.
That may be half what we have to deal with at this point.
Okay. So there are a couple of storms out ahead of this storm. That's the only problem here, is that there are a couple of cluster storms out ahead, so we can't really see.
Exactly. It's very unideal.
Okay, so this is one of the worst situations we could be in, is just not having that radar. But let's see if we can do a couple different things here. So our Jacksonville, here's reflectivity from Jacksonville at least. Let's go over to Jacksonville. Okay, so here is the latest look where the storms are, at least from Jacksonville, which I know is a long way away, but that's the closest radar we have that's working right now. So the latest storms are going through I-10. Here's Greenville. Here's Hopeville, Madison, Edu, Covington, Cabbage Grove, all those areas within this line of storms, and this tornado warning did get extended. So within this line of storms, we do have the potential for a tornado. So this is a tornado warning for northwestern Lafayette County. I'm just going to go back over here and kind of point to it. This is Lafayette County, Taylor County, Jefferson County, and Madison County. These are all under a tornado warning. So you can see here, this is extended out, this I-10 corridor. Here is that warning. There's Madison County. I mean, obviously, this is a very large extension of that warning, and that means that there is high confidence that that rotation is either holding together and tightening and retightening, and then loosening and retightening, which is possible. And we've seen it with 2 confirmed tornadoes in Leon and in Gadsden County already this morning. So unfortunately, the situation right now is that we don't have radar coming in from, or at least we're not getting signal or not giving out signal, whether it was that tornado that moved through here or there, two unideal spots for a tornado to move through, taking out either our system or theirs or both. So what we're doing now is this is a look from the Jacksonville radar. This is not as accurate, unfortunately, of a look from our radar, but it does give you a general idea of what's going on. We can at least tell you where the warnings are. We can at least help you out with getting to your safe place. So this is understandably an unideal situation, but this is going to be a situation where you're going to want to take shelter no matter what, because now we're blind and you're blind to where that rotation is. So until 8:15 a.m., severe storm capable of producing tornadoes located 12 miles southwest of Monticello, moving east at 60 miles per hour. So here's Monticello, probably right around this area right here. This system is moving just to the south of I-10, or right around I-10, and that's going to be moving at 60 miles per hour. So this storm system has absolutely picked up speed. I mean, earlier we were talking about these tornadoes going about 30 to 40 miles per hour. And, hey, Dennis, are we on air right now?
Yeah, we have been having issues with it going in and out.
Okay.
Let me make sure they're working on it for you.
Okay. I'm sorry if we're watching online. Let me pull up my computer and make sure we're watching online.
All right, we are back on.
Okay. All right, everybody. I'm sorry about that. So we just took a tornado pretty close to here, and we're having some technical issues. Let me just go ahead and recap everything we've been talking about here. What a wild day. So it looks like, okay, let's go ahead and recap here. Looks like we're back on air. We've been having some issues, obviously, but thank you for rejoining us. Let's just start over again. So we do have a problem. We have Tallahassee radar down and Valdosta's radar down. So what we're using right now is Jacksonville's radar. So this gives you a broad idea. It's not as accurate as you would have out of Tallahassee, but unfortunately we took a hit here from a tornado less than a mile away, and the radar took a hit from a tornado less than a couple miles away. So unfortunately we don't have radar right now. It looks like not only me, but a lot of other people are having problems with radar out of Valdosta as well. So this is the best thing that we have. Thank you, Dennis. So this is the best thing we have. So having some technical difficulties, but this is still a very serious situation, and we want to give you the latest. And this is, I'm just explaining why we're kind of going on and off air and what's going on. So 2 tornadoes kind of wiped us out for a second there, and then wiped parts of our radar out. So this is a Jacksonville look at our radar. We do have a tornado warning still extending out into Madison County, Lafayette County, Jefferson County, and Madison County. This severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado. That latest scan was right around here, just to the southwest of Monticello, near that I-10 corridor, and it's moving east. So a lot of this area here, which is why this is so broad and so long, is because a lot of this area, this line of storms, has been producing very quick spin-up tornadoes. Unfortunately, it wasn't so quick, and it wasn't just a spin-up across places like Gadsden County and Leon County, where, again, we took almost a direct hit here at the station, and our radar almost took a direct hit as well. So that's why, we're having technical difficulties, and the radar is not working right now, and the Valdosta radar is out, but we do still have that line of storms still moving through. This is out of Jacksonville, so not as accurate, but as accurate as I can get you, because the main messaging here is that we do have a tornado warning that is in effect for these areas in this red. That includes Jefferson County into Taylor County and parts of Taylor County there, and then Madison County along that I-10 corridor. Along that line of storms is still moving to the east. This storm has been capable of producing a tornado and has. Please take shelter now. There's no other if, but, ands about it. I mean, I can't look at where that rotation is exactly, but I can tell you that there has been rotation and you are at risk of a tornado in your neighborhood. So please take cover now. It's been a pretty active morning for us, and this is going to be where we're going to find that rotation potential across that line of storms. The best place to take shelter is going to be in an interior room. And this is going to be also without, a door to the outside, without windows, and hopefully the lowest part of the house. I know a lot of places in Florida don't have basements, but do the best you can and make sure you're safe. Grab the helmets, the mattresses, what have you. It sounds silly.
Valdosta is now under a tornado warning.
Okay, and we now have Valdosta under tornado warning. So it sounds silly, but please take this very seriously, because this is going to be a situation where, a tornado is possible, and we've had debris flying in the air. So that's also an area of concern. This is another broad area of concern. Here's just a large area of concern from basically Douglasville all the way down to Jefferson County. This line of storms is capable of producing a tornado. It's a very large swath that has been producing rotation all morning long. So because I would expect, I don't want to speak, for anyone, but the National Weather Service of Tallahassee, we don't have a radar there. We don't have a radar in Valdosta right now. So this is all coming from different radars quite a few ways away. So the messaging here is that, yes, there is tornado warning from basically Perry all the way up through Lakeland. That includes Valdosta, Lake Park, Madison, and Monticello. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to zoom in and find exactly where any potential tornadoes are spinning up, but there has been spin along this line all morning long. This is a very broad area of a tornado warning, but it's the best we can do to tell you to get into cover now. There is potential for tornadic activity all along this line. It is a very dangerous situation out there. Whether it's tornadoes, high wind, or hail, all those are damaging. Now, I was going back to say that in Tallahassee earlier, we had flying debris, and I know it sounds silly to wear helmets or bring the mattress, but flying debris, those are pretty well-defined debris balls. I mean, they were close to a mile in width. That means debris is in the air, trees, siding, windows, I mean, you name it. Debris is in the air, it's being lofted and tossed around, and that can impact your house and go through siding very easily. So that's why it is really important, windows even easier. It's really important to stay safe only within your home, and especially within an area of foundation that has a foundation. So no mobile homes, no cars. Please stay inside this morning. This is a dangerous situation ongoing across the southeast. So again, we are looking at a wide area, a large area of some high wind, at least minimum, some large hail, and then tornadic activity that's been ongoing all morning long. Again, those 2 confirmed tornadoes moving through Gadsden County, 2 in Tallahassee this morning, all producing debris balls, which means debris was lifted into the air, enough so that we saw that being returned on radar when we still had it. But we took a close hit here in Midway. It was about a mile from our station. And then the radar down to the southwest of the airport took a hit as well. So where our technical difficulties have panned out now, thanks to the hard work of Riley, Dennis, Bob, and Quinn, who are back there working really hard to, get us all set and go, but we're still having problems with that radar. So it is just a good idea, no matter where you live, within the line of the storms, all the way down to Carabel now, to take shelter now. I cannot reiterate that enough. It's going to be very important because these storms have been popping up all morning long. That low rotation has been popping up all morning long. You can see the amount of lightning here along that storm system as well. That really has nothing to do with the strength of the storm or how severe it is, but there is a lot of lightning as well. So you're probably hearing that, but rotation has been occurring outside those areas without lightning. I mean, we saw rotation earlier in Liberty County that was really tight and fast. I mean, it only lasted a few minutes. No lightning within 15 miles, so it doesn't have to be thundering outside for rotation to occur. Typically, that rotation is going to occur, just to give you a better idea, along the leading edge of the storm system. You can kind of see here a few different areas where some inflow is happening. I would say right around Lowndes County. I mean, this is an area probably of concern. Again, this is a radar coming out of Jacksonville, so it's not as accurate, but we still see a couple of areas of concern within that rotation. And, along that line, basically from Jefferson to Taylor, Madison, up through Lowndes County, Lakeland, and then to our north, that's where that rotation can occur. So heavy rain really being seen across places of the I-10 corridor. So even if you are out of that spin's path of that leading edge of that storm, you're still experiencing some high wind and heavy, heavy rain. So it's not safe to be out there right now on any of those roadways. I know it's now 7:30 almost, and a lot of us are, trying to get to work, but I promise you it is safer to stay at your home right now than it is to go outside as the storm system passes. It will be out of here, and the good news is we have a beautiful weekend in store, so please don't put your life at risk or others at risk trying to go out this morning to beat the storm to work or school or what have you. A lot of schools have been canceled or delayed this morning. You can find that list at WTXL.tv, our website. It's right up there at the top. But again, we've been tracking a very active morning for us. I want to kind of look at some of our neighborhoods here, put down this piece of paper. I look at some of our neighborhoods here across the region, just to kind of give you an idea of at least the best we can with this Valdosta Lakeland area. So here's Hahira, there is Valdosta, there's 75. We're going to go down through parts of Durden, Quitman, Baden, Empress, Nankin, Cherry Lake. That's a big area for the summer activities. I know a lot of people up there now from FSU, FAMU, TCC who have graduated, trying to enjoy some post-grad life. Please take cover now. You are under this area of concern for rotation. Madison in Madison County, Hopewell, Shady Grove, places like Covington, Cabbage Grove getting some very heavy rain right now over into Hampton Springs. These are lead times I'm giving you out ahead of the storm. So even Buckhorn right now, you're probably seeing or feeling quite a bit of wind. Not seeing the lightning yet, but here's a good example. Here's Buckhorn. There's lightning maybe to your north and east, not a lot compared to those other areas, but I mean that wind and that rain and that hail, I mean all potentially areas where you can see some damage even outside of that rotation.
I'm wondering if we could put up the Quitman cam. I don't know exactly if that storm, it looks like the storm might be right over, so I'm going to try to pull it up here on WSI2. When I have it, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to try to pull up Riley's going to try to pull up the Quitman cam for us. That's going to be the best way, honestly, to get you up-to-date information.
I have that Quitman cam up now.
Okay, can we do WSI2, please, Dennis? Riley's pulled up. Okay, there we go. Wow. Holy cow. So there's a tanker, a gas truck, people on the road. I is not advised. I would definitely be off the road right now. I mean, look at the wind, the rain, the visibility is going to be reduced here in just a minute. I mean, that storm is just to the west of you. And within minutes here, you're going to be under some even more windy conditions. So please get off those roadways. It is very disheartening to see so many people on the road this morning trying to beat this storm. That is not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. I know it's 7:30. People are trying to get to work. Brooks County, you are under a tornado warning. It is not a time to be out on those roadways. I mean, especially, geez, in a truck or a car. I mean, you can easily, if you don't get it blown off the road, that debris, I mean, possible within some of those storms. I mean, look at the rain on the concrete there in the middle of that intersection. It is just whipping across parts of that intersection overlooking the Quitman City Hall there. That's Brooks County. And people are just think it's okay to be on the roads, but I promise you it is not. And it's especially dangerous. We can come back now, Dennis. Thank you. It's especially dangerous because we don't even have eyes on an accurate radar right now. I mean, this is a broad area of a tornado warning because we can't look at a detailed forecast to show you exactly where that spin is. Not me, National Weather Service, I mean, whoever. You, if you're on your phone at home, maybe a weather nerd like me, I mean, you can't see it because we're getting inaccurate data or as inaccurate of data from Jacksonville right now because of Valdosta radar is out and Tallahassee. Okay, so then let's, so Riley, if you can work on power outages for me, that would be awesome. Thank you, Dennis. That's a great idea. Okay, so the printout here is coming out of probably an extended either severe thunderstorm warning or extended tornado warnings. But within this area, again, this is all information right now that I'm showing you coming out of Jacksonville. And so we can't look at velocity scans that are going to be very accurate. We can't do that for you because we just don't have the radar. This is an extended thunderstorm warning over into Mayo and places like Lafayette County and then down into Taylor County and parts of Dixie County as well. But so here's that area of that large area of that tornado warning because we just don't have accurate information. So if you're on the road, you are absolutely chancing it. There is no way that I could help you. There's no way that anyone can help you because we just don't have the information to see where exactly those storms are. And I can tell you this, no matter where a tornado is or not, there are high winds out there, heavy rain, hail. It's all damaging and it all is life-threatening. I mean, I'm not trying to scare you, but it's just not a good time to be on the road, especially when we're blind. And that means that, you know, you're definitely taking a chance and putting your life in your own hands if you want to be out on the roadways this morning trying to get to work. I can promise you that staying at home in a safe place is going to be much more long-term than trying to get onto those roadways this morning. So I-10 corridor through Madison is about to be hit with that initial line. Within this line is when we're going to see that rotation. Obviously, can't really detail that out for you, but I can show you where at least that line is. Greenville, Madison. Here's that I-10 corridor. Perry, you're in the path eventually of that system that's probably about, I'd say, 15 minutes away from you. It's moving very quickly now. It's picked up speed, moving about 60 miles per hour, where earlier this morning it was trucking through only about 30 or 40 miles per hour. So it is moving very quickly to the east. Here is Quitman, Hahira, Valdosta, Dasher, Lakeland, all those areas, and then now Quitman. So now that Quitman area, I just want to show you those people on the roadway, you're experiencing quite possibly, well, you are experiencing some heavy rain, wind, and hail, but there could be rotation stuck up in this line of storms, which is what we've seen all morning long. Kind of that leading line now is in Baden and Blue Springs, but we could also see that rotation just right up here on 21. So, I mean, that's why it's so dangerous to be on the road just when we don't have eyes on this storm at all. No matter if you're National Weather Service or me, you just don't have accurate information this morning. So that's going to be something that's going to be unfortunate, but what I can tell you is that there are severe thunderstorm warnings, there are tornado warnings in place. There is dangerous weather that is moving through. We can see that at least, no matter if it's a mile or two off, we can see that it is dangerous weather. The past history of this weather, like I was saying earlier, if you're just joining us, it is now, I'm going to move out of the way, 7:33 a.m. Earlier this morning, we had nearly a direct hit here in Midway. A tornado was confirmed on the ground. There was debris being lofted into the air, quite a bit of it, just 2 miles to the south, just around that I-10 corridor, just to our south and south of I-10. There was also a confirmed tornado in Leon County heading toward places like Doak Campbell Stadium, and then also near the radar. That was 2 different systems. So that one that went through Gadsden County, closer to the Doak Campbell Stadium area, before we kind of lost that radar, that was one that was on the ground moving into Tallahassee. The second was the second one that was moving across our southern corridor near Woodville Highway.
I'm just going to break in here with the Leon County Schools Facebook post update.
Yep, go ahead.
So as of 7 a.m., all Leon County school buses will be delaying picking up elementary and middle school students until the severe weather passes through our area. They want everyone to please monitor their email and their social media for updates. They parked the buses at their high schools for safety. And they'll let you know when they're back on the road, and they're telling all district staff at the Howell and district administration need to stay home, do not report to the office.
Okay, so there you go. Leon County Schools say do not come in right now. Buses are delayed. They're parked safely at the school, so I'm assuming those bus drivers can take shelter within the school as well. So, yeah, I mean, this is a dangerous situation, and like I said, please take cover now. We're hearing it from officials. You're hearing it from me. You're hearing it from the school. There's no reason to go outside right now. There's absolutely no reason to go out. So again, we're still watching that storm system now enter Valdosta. And it's going to be moving to the east pretty quickly here. So we're going to see updates rather quickly. Again, this is out of out of Jacksonville, but this is Valdosta, Hayhira, where unfortunately our Valdosta radar is also out. Quitman also seeing some heavy rain this morning, some wind as well. And that's down into Greenville, Madison. Please take cover now, as well as Lee across that I-10 corridor and just the north. I believe that's 27 that goes down through Live Oak. Or 90, excuse me. Please take cover now as that storm system continues to move to the east. There's Greenville. You're getting quite a bit of lightning, heavy rain as well. And then Perry, you're eventually in the path of that storm. And here's the thing that I look at. I mean, you can't look at the details of this because of our radar situation, but you can see how, especially down here in Taylor County, kind of moving out of Jefferson County, look at that. We call it a bow. Think of a bow and arrow. Like that bow is going to move out like this. Look at the structure of this storm. There is high wind associated with this, whether it's rotating or not. That is dangerous wind. And like I said earlier, I mean, a lot of times people focus on the tornado warnings, and yes, it is very critical to be in your shelter during a tornado. I mean, you have very high winds over a very small area. It's just going to be damaging.
I could come in with power outages right now. I think these are very tentative. They are going to go up. If we want to pull up WSI 2, Dennis, we can show what we have, especially right now for Liberty in Gadsden County. Right now, about 70% of Liberty County is reported without power. Gadsden County at 17%. Of course, that 2% in Leon County, I can almost guarantee that will be going up. There have been reports of power poles and trees snapped in half near Capitol Circle and West Tennessee streets. And we have also a lot of reports of trees down. We're going to try to get a picture on air soon of some trees snapped and down and provide that momentarily for all the viewers.
Oh, thank you so much, Riley. Yeah, and that's like you said, Riley, that number is definitely going to go up. I mean, we tracked that tornado right there to West Tennessee Street. I mean, that's where the debris ball was. So,
and just another thing that's just came in from FDOT, multiple trees down in Indian Head Acres, but I assume that is very common across much of the Tallahassee neighborhood right now.
I think that we'll get a lot of those reports through the morning hours of Gadsden and Leon County, unfortunately. And then, that storm is just now moving through Lowndes, Jefferson, Madison, and Taylor counties. So I'm sure that those numbers will go up as this storm system heads east as well. So, a very active day this morning for us, as we do have those tornado warnings still ongoing. And, let me just
quick cancellation now for the tornado warning for Colquitt County and Thomas County in Georgia. They're now out in the clear for that.
All right, so the tornado warning has now just kind of shifted to the east, kind of following that initial line of movement there. I'm sure that will show up here, but Valdosta, Lake Park, Hayhira, all still in that corridor of that tornado warning. But let me just go ahead and show you what's going on here. Let's recap because it's been an active day and it's going to continue to be active. So a couple of hours, I don't even know now, maybe like 45 minutes ago, an hour ago, a tornado, less than an hour ago, a tornado was touched down and confirmed to be touched down in Gadsden County. Then another one in Leon County. That one tracked closer to the Midway corridor, and that was the one that hit close to here. So we lost power for a bit. Sorry if we were off air for you. We got all the technical things figured out for now, at least. But also a tornado that was confirmed on the ground another one went very close to our Tallahassee radar, knocking it out. We haven't had access to our radar there, which is why we also have to use now this Jacksonville radar. Valdosta is right here. This radar is also out. The two that we typically use are going to be Panama City and then Tallahassee and Valdosta, which of course encompass most of our area, right? Well, if those are out, what do? You have to use the closest one next, and that's going to be Jacksonville, which is why I assume these tornado warnings are so broad. I mean, look how broad this tornado warning is, going from basically Hahira, Lowndes, all the way to Madison. That's because this line of storms has historically had that rotation in it, and because we can't look at the storm and dissect it because we're not close enough to do that, we have to have broad warnings, and that's issued by the National Weather Service of Tallahassee, just to be clear. There's tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. So this system is moving at about 60 miles per hour and has the capability of producing tornadoes. So no matter where you are in this line, it is important for you to take cover now. We have no access to where we can dissect these storms to see where that tight rotation is. So this is a problematic event where we're just telling you to take cover now. That's the best you can do. It's the best you can do even when I do see a couplet on the radar. So act as if there is a tornado near you, because no matter what, there will be high wind, hail, and a possible tornado. So no matter what, you should be in your safe place already anyway. Those storms that move through Midway, almost staking out us, and then the one that went through parts of Leon County near our radar, they showed signs of debris. So debris was being lofted up in the air. That's why you don't want to be outside. I mean, high wind can do that, tornadoes can do that, and that's where, you get into trouble very quickly. Not just your car blowing off the road, but, debris, trees being thrown into your car, hail, damaging wind, all of that, and that goes for your house as well. That's why you want the interior room of your house, not only because wind can damage the sidings, but also debris can penetrate the siding of houses. So please act as if we can dissect this storm, and you are under a tornado warning. So please do take this very seriously across all the way from Perry all the way up to Hahira and Lakeland early this morning. The storm has picked up quite a bit of steam here as it's moving into out of Jefferson into Taylor County this morning. Here's Madison. You're probably hearing some rumbles of thunder. Again, lightning has nothing to do with the strength of the storm, but it does indicate that the storm is strong. So we have some of these black and parts of white returns here. That's a good indicator of a hail core. That's where that hail is probably at least an inch, if not more. We saw a 2-inch report as the storm even just started this morning across Miller County.
We have a new tornado warning. This is now for Lafayette and Taylor counties.
Okay, so see how we were talking about the bowing and the strengthening of that. That was enough for that Taylor County and Lafayette County to be included in that tornado warned area. So it's just picking up steam as it moves through to Taylor County. So I'm not really surprised there by any means that this is now a widespread event of tornadic activity. So and again, potential for tornadic activity. So again, this Taylor County, we were just talking about how this is bowing out. No matter what, there is high wind associated with this. I mean, we're talking 60, 70 mile per hour gusts plus. That's enough to throw that debris around, to make it a very dangerous drive, or to make it very dangerous to not be in a house without foundation. So that's where you want to go now. You've got plenty of lead time. Look at this, Mayo, Branford, over into Lafayette County, there's Taylor County, Madison County. You have plenty of lead time right now to go and get into a safe spot. Act as if a tornado is on the ground for you, because we just don't have eyes to dissect this storm. So please act as if this tornado is on the ground for you. Please take this very seriously. Get into your safe spot. Make sure that you have plenty of time to stay informed. Maybe leave the TV on, or if you have the weather radio, that's the best way to get information, especially because we are probably going to experience we've already have and will experience some widespread power outages just because of the wind. So a lot of these areas are going to experience wind, hail, and potential for tornado. But again, our radar information is coming out of Jacksonville's radar, which is a long way away. So it's not possible to dissect the storm and see where that rotation is. But because the storm system has had so much activity with it this morning, as far as rotation goes, might as well just act as if the whole thing is rotating in spots along this line, and quite possibly is. So that's going to be really important to keep an eye on that. So let's go ahead and look neighborhood by. Let's at least do something that I can do, which is look at where these storms are at now. So Quitman, you're kind of past that big spurt of heavy rain and hail, but you're still in the area where you're probably going to see some wind still possible in your area. So you're going to see that wind really. You're probably already feeling the wind kick up in Valdosta right now, some heavy rain, lightning on the way there. Where we're looking for this potential rotation, which we really can't see now, but the potential for rotation is along this leading edge of, you see these purples here, kind of along that leading edge of that heavy rain. That's, I mean, all the way down into Perry and Taylor County. So along that leading edge, as I zoom in here, that's where the rotation is possible. So Cherry Lake, you know, places like Bailey, just to the east of you, along that line is where we've seen a lot of that rotation. And see, every time I say that, I mean, we do skip ahead. And so every time I say, okay, it's at Cherry Lake now, it's probably moving over Cherry Lake now because the scans are a little delayed. Which is why I look out ahead. So Bellevue, Leyland, Madison, Blue Springs, Lee, that's 90 corridor as well. 6, Hopewell down to 53. I mean, the 53 corridor, if you live to the east of that, definitely go ahead and take shelter now. That includes Day, Chansey, Buckville, Dell, and down to 27, another major area going out of Perry down, you know, closer to the peninsula, down that corridor, Athena, and then down into eventually Salem and then Dixie County. So Cook's Hammock also eventually in the path of that. But, you know, you have plenty of time if you're in Cook's Hammock or Midway, Taylor County or Mayo or Branford, all these areas have plenty of time to get and take shelter now. That doesn't mean try to go out now and rush to your job or rush to wherever you're going. It does mean get out now if you live in a mobile home, if you're in a car, to find foundation and find a safe place to be for when the storm arrives. So again, this is information coming out of Jacksonville. So you know, it might be, I mean, that's a long way for that radar to shoot. So, you know, you might be even closer to us than Carver and Athena and Foley. So we're getting a little bit, so as that radar kind of shoots up, I won't get too scientific with it, it starts to either bend or bend up or down. And so you can kind of get a little bit less of that accuracy of where that storm actually is. But we do know that, you know, right across Foley, Athena, Deckle Beach as well. Again, Chansey, Live Oak, eventually going to arrive for you. Madison, you're probably feeling or hearing the rain outside now, the cracks of thunder. Valdosta, now moving over you. That's where that line of storms is. And especially concerning here, when we look at the organization of these storms, you know, you can find some of that spin within that Valdosta corridor, kind of heading out of Lowndes County. But as we head down to Madison County, look how it kind of moves out right here and bows down into Perry, especially along these areas. They could find a smaller area of that bow and that inflow where that rotation is possible. So this is really the concerning area across the Big Bend this morning, where we have the higher chance anyway for atmospheric conditions to produce a tornado. But this is going to be the area where we already expected a lot of rotation if we had radar and could see it early this morning out of Leon County, where a lot of this area was already under this tornado concern. And now that storm is there. We've already had tornadoes in a lower area of concern. And now, I mean, we do expect tornadic activity across places like Taylor County, Madison County, and Valdosta, now kind of in the heart of that. So as that continues to move out, here's Quitman. You're kind of out of the way of that initial line of storms. So places like Boston, and that's going to be over in Thomas County, Thomasville, Ocklawaha, Pelham. You're in the clear of severe weather, but that continues to track to the east at 60 miles per hour. So it is moving quickly, and within that line of storms, spin can happen very quickly as well. So we're going to continue watching this line of storms as it moves through. We're not going to go off air with any tornado warning still in effect for our area.
We do for that Madison County tornado warning with that moving through. We have a camera of that right now that we could show.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so thank you. So let's go ahead and let me go ahead and show it right here on the map first and just kind of give you an idea of where we're looking. So here's Madison County. Here's Madison. The heaviest rain just off to our west between 10 and 90. Now let's look at that camera and see what it looks like outside right now. So here it's not there yet, but it's already obviously raining very hard. The wind is picked up. You see the lightning in the background there. That's going to be something we're going to check in on as that storm system approaches too, because it's just, I mean, within 3-4 miles of your west. But what I expect to happen here is that rain to get harder, visibility to get lower, and wind to pick up. So we see some people on the road. Let's hope that they can get to a safe spot very quickly when this storm moves in. Again, this is one of the areas of concern where we can't dissect the storm, but we do have the potential and the atmospheric ingredients, even before the system started, to have rotation, especially across the Big Bend counties. So our eastern Big Bend counties were more susceptible to that tornadic activity this morning. We can't see that right now, but I can expect there are some areas of spin that are occurring. So here's Madison County. Please take shelter. Okay, so now this storm is right over Madison in Madison County. This is out of the EOCs, the Emergency Operations Center. Weather stem camera, you can see the lightning picking up there. I expect over the next couple of minutes here that rain is going to be moving through.
Yeah, and Elizabeth, going back now to Taylor County, we do have some reports from emergency management in Taylor County. There's a large pine tree across both of the southbound lanes on Highway 19, and that is to the north of Perry.
Okay.
So that essentially makes southbound on Highway 19 impassable at this point. And then we also have the cancellation of the tornado warning for Jefferson County. So that includes neighborhoods like Monticello. You are in the clear for that tornadic threat. You can come out of that safe space now.
Perfect. Yeah. And so again, as this line trucks along, those safe places are going to be less of a need. But that's Madison County now, Hopewell, Cherry Lake. So here's a little bit more action. But this happens within seconds. Riley just gave us.
Yeah, I just looked down.
Yeah, Riley looks down for 1 second. This is how fast we're going to lose visibility here in a minute. It looks like hopefully some people are off the roadway now, maybe not moving through those roadways in Madison where now that wind is picking up, the rain is coming down. Hopefully we don't lose power here, but we've had a history of lost power across a lot of these areas where this high wind has been pushing through along this pretty lengthy line of storm activity. Yeah, that camera is shaking. There goes the visibility. Now I can barely see, the roadway out there, and then it's just gonna get worse as this moves over. Let's watch it here for just a minute. This is how quickly it can change. You're on the road 1 second and you hit this the next. That can be extremely dangerous. And now we're losing visibility of even the lights in the background there. So, yeah, that's how fast it can change. Look at that. That was perfect timing. Thank you, Riley.
Absolutely. And we do have an email thread that we've had of just reports from around the area. So
Okay.
I'll read through that now if we want to switch back.
Yeah, if you want to switch back, I can go ahead and zoom in while you're reading through kind of some of the areas.
Absolutely. Yeah, so first that we have here, it's just from about 20 minutes ago, trees down on Tharp Street. And we have the Valdosta and Tallahassee radars down, of course.
Yep.
And we have power outages as well. And I was just reading that. I want to just check quickly our printout because that is what updates us about new warnings. This looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is also a severe thunderstorm warning. Suwannee County, this is where you start to come into play with that severe thunderstorm warning,
Right.
not the tornado risk. But then as we head to the Buck Lake Pedrick area, the lights are out. And this is from our chief meteorologist, Casanova Nurse, reporting this. A medium-sized tree branch down in the yard across the street. So no significant damage to reports in that neighborhood.
Okay.
But now power outage map, we'll try to update that for you in just a little bit. FAMU campus, damage and power outages, and the Allied Health building specifically. So those are the updates we have for you now, damage-wise.
And that was kind of that area of rotation we were watching before we lost it near our college campus areas, TCC, FAMU, FSU, before we lost our radar. So that's just one of those things where, we're doing the best we can to keep you informed, but we just don't have access to a tight radar. But we do have, thankfully, Riley there giving you some reports. We have what we can look at least radar-wise, and just let you know, what's going on in your area. So hopefully you're taking this very seriously because there has been some extensive damage. And like he said, let's go down to Taylor County because it is interesting because Perry. Just a couple of seconds ago, you weren't even in this bulk of this rain yet. When he was telling you about the Perry down trees, those reports come in a few minutes late, but that system was just then moving into Perry. So even out ahead of this area, Cook's Hammock, you're probably feeling the wind now. Mayo as well, Midway, all those areas already experiencing wind that can be damaging, and that's ahead of even that rain or lightning or thunder. So that's why you go ahead and be in your safe place now, not to be on those roadways early this morning. Here is that extension of that severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Hummerville, Jasper, White Springs, Lake City, and Trenton. That includes parts of our Suwannee Valley, Lafayette County, and here's that latest update. That storm is really moving now pretty quickly to the east. So here is Valdosta. You're kind of still in that path where give it a few minutes before you move out of your safe spot. We still have that area kind of where that rotation could be occurring just to your east. So I wouldn't clear Valdosta yet of your safe spot. Places like Quitman, though, yes, and Barwick, yes. That tornado warning will be moved up here as it was in Jefferson County just a minute ago. But places like Cherry Lake, Madison, Blue Springs, Lee, and Hopewell. You're still in the midst of that wind and that destruction potentially, or at least damaging winds, potentially rotation. Chauncey, Day, Buckville, Peterson, Mayo, Midway, all in that path as well as Finn Holloway. That's not a safe place to get out of just yet either. So again, this line of storms is extending all the way from the coastline of Taylor County all the way up through Lowndes County, Lanier County as well, kind of moving east, picking up pace though, maybe not as much so for South Georgia, but we're seeing this extra fuel of this low level, upper level wind that's really helping to swing this storm out, to really drive this storm. A lot of energy with this front, and that's where we're going to find the potential for some very strong wind. I mean, here's that bow that we were talking about. So you think of a bow and an arch. There's where that wind is going. I mean, 60, 70 mile per hour plus gusts. It's got some hail as well, a history of hail with this storm, and a history of tornadoes, which is why, because we can't dissect the storm and we're going out of Jacksonville, all this area is under a tornado warning. Again, all these warnings are issued by the National Weather Service, not by me. They're issued by the National Weather Service, but you know, if you're out of Jacksonville radar, this is a long way away for that radar to get accurate information. So it is best to treat all of these areas along this line of storms right now as if there was a tornado in your area. So please have that safe spot available to you. So a lot behind the storm, I mean, look at this. Tallahassee, yes, there's some lightning still out there. Definitely be careful in Thomasville of that lightning. Moultrie, Miller County, a lot of that has moved past. I mean, yes, it's been, 5 hours or so that we've been on air. But as that system moves to the east, we will have some calmer weather. So we have plenty of time to do whatever you need, I promise. And the storm is moving very quickly, but take it seriously before it gets to you and as it moves over you, because it has had a history of damage. I mean, it was pretty scary here for a second. And Midway, we just took a second just to see where that was going to track, if it was over us or just to our south. Luckily, it was just to our south. Unluckily for some, it was over their neighborhood. And it could be your neighborhood too, that these storms are rotating over. We can't dissect the storm for you. So the best case scenario is to act like there is a tornado in your area and just take it as seriously as possible, and make sure that you are taking all the precautions as necessary. So let's go ahead and go over those neighborhoods one more time. We're not going to go off air until these warnings move out of our area or expire. So we're going to be here all morning long. And then let's bring up Madison again, because look, I mean, just for 10 minutes, this was wild. And then Dennis, if you can pull up that Madison camera for us, I mean, I promise you, the storm is going to move out. It's going to be okay. But in Madison now, yes, it's still rainy and windy, but you can see again, I mean, it just is that fast. And that's why you want to take shelter now before that storm arrives, because that's how quickly it can change. I think Dennis is probably back there doing a bunch of stuff for us.
Yeah, and something worth mentioning, we are going to have our reporter Maya Sargent. She's headed to Tharp Street. She will be live in about 10 minutes.
Okay, so Maya's going to be out on Tharp Street. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Maya, for going out. So Tallahassee, you're out of that severe line, so we can send our reporters out and kind of get a look at some of this live damage that it's going to be that's going to be showing up all across this map today. So here's where that line of storms is until we get Maya up on air. Thank you, Riley, and thank you, Maya. This is now team coverage of this widespread severe weather that we have in our forecast. We do have that area from Lowndes County, Lanier County, all the way down to Taylor County and out into Lafayette County. That could potentially be an area where a tornado is spinning up or can be produced. Unfortunately, again, we just can't dissect it, but places that still need to be in your safe spot are Valdosta, Lakeland, all the way down to Blanton, Dasher, Lake Park, Bellevue, Blue Springs, Lee, Ellaville, Chancey, Day, Buckville, Peterson, Mayo, Midway, and then Cook's Hammock. All those areas, and even Hatchbend. All those areas need to be in your safe spot now before the storm arrives. It is moving at about 60 miles per hour or so it's a fast-moving storm. And like in Madison County there, we're not going to be able to take shelter as that storm arrives. It's going to be too late. So take shelter now before that storm arrives for you. Again, this line of storms continues to push east throughout these early morning hours. We're going to have, the main threats besides that tornadic activity are going to be large hail. It's going to be wind, and then the spin-up tornado can't be ruled out as well. Excuse me. So we're going to stay here all morning long until these warnings expire, until they move into those severe thunderstorm warned areas. But I just wanted to recap what's happened this morning. So this cold front is moving through right now, and that's prompting a lot of colder air up under this warm air mass. I mean, geez, if you walked out this morning when I came to work, it was 2 a.m. It was 77 degrees. It was humid and hot. It just felt sticky. It felt calm. If you lived in the South, you know what I'm talking about. I grew up in the South. You walk out in those kind of mornings, you're like, uh-oh, This is not going to be a good day. And we just had some atmospheric conditions that just were ripe for, those strong winds. We had ripe atmospheric conditions for tornadic activity and large hail, all being driven by this cold front that's pushing through. So that's exactly what happened as it moved. It was more of a tilt earlier this morning across basically Albany to Panama City. Right around, I'd say, right off the top of the show, 5 a.m., we started with a tornado warning in Seminole County. It didn't quite make it to Seminole. That tornado was on the ground just before Seminole County, but that rotation continued into Seminole County before letting up. And then now it's just been one tornado warning after another. A couple of them have been confirmed on the ground, at least 2 different areas, maybe 3 different areas of confirmed tornadic activity on the ground in our area. That included Gadsden County and Leon County, and Liberty County had some rotation earlier, so Franklin County, you're in the clear now, though, so that is good news. Leon, Gadsden, Liberty, and Franklin County are all in the clear. Now, where we're not in the clear is still this Valdosta, Madison, down to Perry line, where possible rotation is going to form across this line, where no matter what, this very high wind is falling right now. A lot of lightning strikes all across the southeast as that storm pushes east. But again, just for those joining us now, 8 a.m., so hopefully you're tuning in. Sorry if you have those GMA plans. We do want to keep our neighbors safe here, though, and not go off air until these tornado warnings expire. But what happened was, and why these tornado warnings are so widespread, is that we had a tornado that moved through close to our radar. Our Valdosta radar was already down. Those are the 2 main radars out of near the airport in Tallahassee, and then in Valdosta, where we get all this information and we can easily dissect storms. Well, if those are out, what happens? Well, we have to go to the next closest radar. That's going to be Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a long way away from the core of this storm system that's now moving across parts of the southeast side of the Big Bend and southeast Georgia. And what happens here is the radar shoots out. It's not as accurate. It doesn't allow us to dissect the storm efficiently, see exactly where that tight rotation is. And so at this point, we know that along that line is historic for producing tornadoes already. So the National Weather Service of Tallahassee, who issues all of our warnings, has issued a tornado warning basically from Valdosta all the way down into Lafayette County now because of the history of rotation and because we knew going into this day that especially this area was prone to tornadic activity. Now, unfortunately, we had quite a bit to our west as well. We didn't discount that. I mean, there was still a risk for tornadic activity across Tallahassee and places like the tri-state area, but we knew that this area was definitely going to be a risk. Now that the storm system has moved into that area of risk that we knew of yesterday without radar, I mean, there's going to be some rotation within that storm system. We just know it. So, I mean, whether dissected or not, take it very seriously because we know that this area was very prone for tornadic activity just because based on multiple atmospheric conditions, when the storm moved in, that was going to happen. So that's why we have such a widespread tornado day, which is why we're not dissecting the storm for you like we normally do. So my apologies if you wanted to look inside the storm. There is literally nothing I can do, nothing the National Weather Service can do, nothing you can even do at home if you're a weather nerd like me and like to dissect the storm at home. There's no way you can do that accurately with a radar coming out of Jacksonville. So yeah, we have a lot of power outages this morning, high wind gusts, tornado warning still in effect. Again, a lot of these storms are going to be moving out of this tornado warned area into the severe thunderstorm warning. We're not going to go off air until that happens, but even in this severe thunderstorm warned area, please keep in mind the wind gusts are high, hail is large, and tornadic activity is possible. So please take this seriously. And even as that area of Homerville, Eccles and Clinch County to our east, continue with these warnings. Please, Jasper, especially, take that just as seriously as a tornado warning and know that that damage is still possible as that storm heads your way. And about 30 minutes or so, Jasper will be kind of through that storm system. So it's moving very fast, about 60 miles per hour. Along this leading edge is where we're most concerned with that tornadic activity. That storm system is now moving through Lafayette County, where that tornado warning is still in play for Mayo, all the way down closer to that Taylor County coastline. But across Lafayette, as this storm enters into your area, that's where we're going to find into Suwannee as well, some of that very high wind and that potential for tornadic activity as well. So this is where we kind of that line we've been looking at all morning long. You see how it's bowing out. It's kind of a bow shape. You put an arrow in there. That's that bow where high wind is definitely an indicator. If you see that on radar, something that's bowed like that, there is a high chance that there is some high wind within that. So 60, 70 mile per hour gusts of wind possible. And as we get closer to that Jacksonville radar, hopefully you can see a little bit better where that line occurs. And right now, basically, it's from Mercer, Dickert, Adams, and Lauraville. Peterson, Mayo, and Midway, all kind of in the path of that storm, just moving to the east of Cook's Hammock. But again, in Cook's Hammock, look, you have kind of that initial line, probably more of an outflow wind here, but right behind you in Salem and 19, that's when that heavy rain, those strong storms are going to occur for you in just a minute here. So you're not out of the woods yet in Cook's Hammock. For parts of Taylor County into Lafayette County. So we're still watching this bow kind of move out of this tornado warned area in places up to the north, like Eccles and Clinch County. There's Mercer, Fort Union, Adams, Jasper as well. So it's kind of moving out of this area into those severe thunderstorm warned areas. We also have some high wind across Valdosta now moving out into severe thunderstorm warning.
We now have Maya, who is ready to be live. We're ready to toss to her.
Okay, so we have Maya live. She is, someone can talk to my ear for me. You can talk to my ear anytime if you need. But Maya is on Tharp Street in Leon County, where we have some damage, if I'm correct. Maya, what can you tell us what you're seeing out there?
I'm Mayor Sargent, live in Northwest Tallahassee. I'm just off Tharp Street, and as you can see behind me, we're looking at the damage from some of the weather that came through this morning. A tree came down here. I've been talking to homeowners who've been telling me this time of the year they are getting particularly worried about the severe weather on the way in terms of insurance prices and things like this. Make it incredibly difficult to kind of move forward. They're telling me that I spoke to one neighbor who told me they heard the tree come down. It made like a cracking sound, and I'm actually just about to go and speak to the owner of the car, which the tree is currently sitting on top of. Other things I've noticed in the area, Tharp Street, currently the traffic lights are out, so please be careful when you are driving on the road. Watch out and be careful. There is still some lightning in the area as well. That's what we've got from Northwest Tallahassee. I'm Mayor Sargent.
All right, thanks, Maya. And so obviously, one of several trees down there. And if Maya walked up to that tree, it'd be snapped higher than her. That's a pretty big tree on a car. That's not what you want to wake up to on a Friday morning. So feeling for those neighbors in Leon County who have damage to their homes or their cars. But hopefully they have stayed safe in their homes and are able to talk to Maya a little bit more about what they saw this morning. So that is good news. Hopefully they took cover as a lot of that damage was occurring this morning. Where the damage is still occurring now is right across places like Lowndes County down into Madison County over into Suwannee County now, which is under a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, we're going to keep it here until these warnings all expire, these tornado warnings all expire, and then keep you up to date online with any kind of severe activity. This Mayo area of now into Taylor and Lafayette County is still under a tornado warned area. We still see this bowing occurring out of some of those storms and a lot of rotation within some of that cell line is possible. So within that line of storms, heavy rain, hail, and then even possible rotation. This storm is moving about 60 miles per hour now, so it has picked up a lot of steam as it moved across South Georgia and North Florida. So that's good and bad news, right? Because it's good news because the storm moves out faster. Bad news because it probably has higher wind gusts as it does move through. So damage happens at a higher rate of speed. So as it moves out into Jennings and Jasper, it's going to be moving into that severe thunderstorm warned area, and then we're going to continue following it through Adams, Hillcoat. That 75 corridor, a big part of this morning. There's Live Oak as well. So basically down from Hamilton, Eccles, Suwannee, and then down into Lafayette County is what we're watching now for the last remnants of that line of storms through our area at least. I mean, this is going to truck east all day long. So if you have plans to go to Jacksonville, I want to hold off for a few hours. That I-10 corridor in itself might be a little messy, but also, heading out into the storm still. If you're heading out into Jacksonville as that storm moves to the east, though, rather quickly.
Elizabeth, if we could just take a break quick and put up WSI2. These are pictures we're clear to use. Our director Carson actually sent this to us. Let me put it on correctly. I just have it on the wrong window. So
it sounds like we have some pictures that we can use. From, oh my goodness, holy cow.
This is from our director, Carson. This is in just off of Lipona and Jackson Bluff in the Tallahassee neighborhood.
Okay, so that's exactly where we had that rotation earlier. Holy cow, that's a car. The trunk is up on the roof. The trees are in every direction. I mean, that's, I mean, obviously, we're going to have our National Weather Service team go out and survey the damage and look. But that was a confirmed tornado on the ground in that area. Holy cow, a lot of big trees there snapped. I mean, the ground just full of debris. I mean, you can't even see the ground at that point. I mean, it's just pines and leaves and snapped trees. Luckily, it doesn't look like it hit the house there, but I mean,
yeah, and this is also why we say when there is a tornado moving through, we have to get to the lowest, most interior section of the home. Even if you're right by a window, if a tree falls down like that right near the window, that's why we absolutely have to get to that interior room in the lowest level of the home.
Yeah, that or a car flies through your window. Holy cow! I mean, that is absolutely wild. I have not seen something like that here in town any time that I've been here for the last 2 years. That's wild. I really hope that everyone is okay this morning. That is some of the wildest footage I've seen so far. I mean, holy cow. I mean, you can see the trees in all different directions there. I mean, it looks like a tree is on the house actually in the front there. Some people out surveying damage are still in their pajamas. That storm came through at 5, 6 a.m. this morning when a lot of people were just waking up. So dangerous for these storms to come through during that time, and why the southeast is actually, one of the deadliest areas for tornadoes. You have Tornado Alley, but a lot of people don't think about the southeast. It usually comes through at night. There's a lot of trees. You can't see it coming. They're usually rain wrapped. I mean, we have a lot of hazards here with severe weather in the southeast. Well, that's from our director Carson. I hope that
yes.
I hope that he's okay this morning. It looks like he's able to send in some photos at least, and hopefully his neighbors are okay. But that is absolutely wild. Near the Jackson Bluff area. That is where that debris ball was moving through, and that's exactly what was being picked up on radar. You see that branch there, cars. I mean, you name it, however strong that tornado was, which is, again, where that National Weather Service survey will show us in the coming days. And it's strong enough at least to pick up a car and put it up on a roof of a house. Wow, that is absolutely wild. I really hope that everyone's okay this morning. But if we go back to radar here, thank you for sharing that. I hope we get that up online. Yeah, Dennis, if we can bring it back just to kind of show where these storms are moving out now. Wow, that's incredible. That is an incredible footage. I really hope that, and again, that's why you don't want to be in the car. I mean, that could have been in your car with you in it on I-10 this morning. So really important to take that seriously. Holy cow. Anyway, so we are still watching a line of storms that's still dangerous across places like Suwannee County, Hamilton, Eccles County, kind of moving out of Valdosta now. So Valdosta, the tornadic threat is out for you, but you're probably still feeling a little wind. Some heavy rain is still coming down now, but the tornadic threat has moved to the east of you, east of Madison as well, but now just moving into Jasper. That's actually out of the tornado warned area, so I expect that you're probably going to have some high winds there. The closer the storm does get to Jacksonville, where we're using this radar now, the more efficient we're going to find that we can find that the rotation. So Live Oak, that line of storms is coming into your area shortly in just a minute here, and then we have this Mayo corridor where some very gusty wind is moving through. Again, this storm system is moving very quickly. A lot of that storm is out of our tornado warned area, so we're just going to take a second here to make sure those expire before we go off air. But some incredible footage there, from Leon County, Jackson Bluff Road, of that car on the roof. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the only damage that we see like that today. I just really hope that everyone's okay and you got enough lead time to take cover from those storms early this morning.
Unsurprisingly, we just got word in that TCC and FAMU will both be closed today.
Okay.
I know this is the week break where we don't have students in Tallahassee,
right.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Like that's, if we can find any good news, that may be it, that students are usually home this week.
Right. So TCC and FAMU,
yes,
both are closed today. So that is good news I know that graduation happened, but I'm sure a lot of staff still have to report. So if you work or still are attending summer school, do not go to campus today. So this storm system is moving out of those tornado warned areas now. I'm going to keep it here until those expire, though, because I don't want to lead you astray. Again, we just don't have accurate radar right now because we're using the one out of Jacksonville. Both Valdosta and Tallahassee were down. Valdosta was down this morning, but Tallahassee got a nearly direct hit from a confirmed tornado on the ground within miles. And then even in Midway here, that was pretty scary for a moment. A tornado went, I wouldn't even say a mile to our south. I'm sure that when I drive home today, there's going to be some damage on the roadway. So also, if you are past this tornado warned area, just thinking about that, thinking about driving to work today, maybe you are late because you waited for the storm. Thank goodness, that's good for you. But don't drive too fast on those roads. I mean, there's going to be down power lines. Don't drive over those as if they're live, because probably some of them are, especially because so many fell probably at once as that storm moved through. Just don't drive over power lines. Make sure you're avoiding debris on roadways, which we've already heard plenty of reports on. Maya's probably getting quite a few of those reports now. I'm going to go check them out. But we still have some thunder, obviously, if you heard that, rattling our roof. So it still is storming outside, but the majority of that destructive wind, hail, and tornadic activity has moved to our east and into places across, it's still in our counties, across Taylor County, into Dixie County, now Lafayette County, and up through Suwannee, Eccles, and Hamilton County. But that tornadic threat does look to be a little bit lower there. So we're going to see here in just a second if those warnings do expire, where most of that storm activity has moved off to the east. It looks like the one in Taylor County, Lafayette County did expire, which is good news for us, at least southern Taylor County. So we'll just wait here for a bit and show you kind of what's going on with radar, recap what happened today, and then see if that storm activity can just move out. Severe thunderstorms still taken just as seriously as tornado warnings, but again, that damaging wind is still going to be a threat all morning long for us. That tornadic activity hopefully has settled down for now. But again, this was all, we're just recapping here, it's 8:14 a.m. This is all part of a storm system of a front that was moving through. And that storm system was powerful enough to create some heavy wind at first, and then, or strong wind at first, some heavy rain as well, and some hail. I mean, right around 5 a.m. we were getting reports in Miller County of 2-inch hail. That's large. I mean, we just need an inch for it to be a severe thunderstorm warning, but 2 inches, I mean, that's definitely damaging. 1 inch is damaging enough, but 2 inches, double that, obviously going to be a bit more damaging as well. I mean, you have that wind throwing that hail around, throwing debris around, and then we started having these tornado warnings. The first one was just to the west of Seminole County. It was confirmed in Houston County, but into Seminole County, you got a lead warning time on that. So hopefully everyone in Seminole County is okay. And then we started getting these warnings across Gadsden, Liberty, Franklin, another one in Leon, and then another one in Leon. And then they just kept pushing east into Jefferson County. Now it looks like all of those warnings have expired. Please do take these severe thunderstorm warnings just as seriously. Wind is going to be an issue as you head out. We're going to keep you updated on air and online, but thank you for joining me for the last 8 hours now, or 6 hours now, on air with all that tornado warning. We hope that you stayed safe this morning. We'll put those pictures up online, and we'll have the latest on any kind of information on this and this continued storm coverage still through eastern counties of the Big Bend and South Georgia through the early morning hours. But hopefully you stayed safe and we're informed this morning, and we'll be back here tonight for our evening news, looking more at some of that damage that occurred for today.